How you doing, Ben?
I'm doing all right.
So we're starting off with the boss rush. This game's Cloister of Trials or whatever, I guess.
Onimusha.
Oh, you have come again.
This guy, the best.
Won't you go to the dark realm? There is no guarantee.
Now, you mentioned something last time, Trev. If you say no to this guy, you don't get it. He doesn't like appear again.
No, I mean I can say no.
Okay.
It's just that he also shows up in a well, and I've never actually tried to see what he does there.
Right,
But
'cause
I'm
you're
assuming-
not prepared to do boss rush at the
I'm
time.
assuming it's the same thing.
I like the digs. I like the background here.
Yeah, so the background is cool. However, it like is sort of laggy,
Because there's a lot of movement.
and like when you change transitions for the first time every time you go to a new floor, it sort of like takes a while for it to load into like RAM, I guess. And these places are so small that it can get kind of into just being like just so tight.
Ooh.
Especially with auto targeting, when there's a lot of guys, especially guys who fly above you, like the blue guys, it can be very annoying.
Did you get something cool for doing this?
Yeah, you get the item to unlock the best sword in the game. However, the main thing is that you can pretty much only use the best sword in the game for the final boss, and that's it. Because, I mean, it is, like, incredibly OP, but...
Is the final boss, like, very difficult if you don't use the...
It is pretty hard. And surprisingly, the final boss is not Nobunaga. You never actually fight him in this game.
Cool.
Good.
I don't understand why they don't give you a bigger area.
I don't know why either.
It seems to me like it should be like a arena type thing.
Especially with the weird camera angles, sometimes it can be pretty tough.
Are there any enemies you don't normally see in the game that you see here?
No.
So
I mean, the later levels are just like a million guys that are really hard. Like those guys that disappeared, there's some like levels where there's like 8 of them. Not all at once, I mean that'd be incredibly impossible, but...
And how many are there? Like how many
I
levels?
think there's like 20, maybe? It feels like it.
So there's no like exact, or I mean there's an exact, but like they don't have like a counter or whatever.
No.
You know, overall, I'd be interested to see a speed run because I feel like Onimusha is less long than some of the early Resident Evil games. I don't know why I feel that way.
It's probably like the same way, honestly. I could definitely see someone finishing this game in under 90 minutes, but I don't think it's like RE territory where it's like less than an hour.
I guess that makes sense. This area seems a little... I mean, the game seems like a little bit bigger than Resident Evil.
For speedruns, unless you're doing like 100% if it even exists in this game, you would just not do this at all. Like, you really don't get any item except for that one thing. You get like a few like medicines or whatever.
Yeah, there's no way an action game like this would have 100% category and be silly. Could you imagine Resident Evil having a like 100% category? Kill all zombies. Cool.
It does, and I'm the only runner. Great.
Little known fact, Parker and I are actually the world record holders for Resident Evil 6 speedrun. And we own that by default because we are the only ones to ever beat it fully. Could you imagine a game just, like, so bad? It's like, I want to be the Duke Nukem Forever speedrun record. And it's like, cool, I did it. But then all it would take is one person who's actually skilled, and you're like, dude, seriously, did you have to take my record for this dumb game?
Well, isn't that like every awful block game?
I guess that's true.
Except, yeah, like what happens is like those games are like so obscure that they have like one person run it, and then I mean even the
Okay, yeah, I
smallest
tried
game
that.
has like a weird community around it. Like, I don't know of a single game that only does one runner.
Dude, it's been a couple years ago, but when Trevor and I found that there was a dedicated speedrunner for Brave Fencer Musashi, I was like,
one guy.
I was like, that's it. There's no game that doesn't have a speedrunner. Like, I guess no game that's not like a literal child's game for the Wii. You know, something that's like an actual game.
These guys are annoying because they're really not that hard, but they take as many hits as those red guys.
I'm sure if you wanted to be like the record holder in like some Barbie game for the Wii, I guess you would be able to do it. But then there would be some jerk who would be like, oh, I gotta have this. I like, have you guys, I know I've posted them before, have you guys watched, by that guy named Summoning Salt, those, like, world record progression videos? Where the guy talks about where the record was, and, like, how it's gone from there?
Yeah, well, yeah, you posted the one about the Mario, or Super Mario Bros.
Yeah, he has a fair share now. He has one for Mario Kart 64, I think. One for Super Metroid.
Mario Kart 64 speedrun just sounds like
Here's the crazy...
miserable to do and watch.
Here's the crazy thing about the Mario Kart 64 one. Well, first of all, there's like half of the races have major skips.
Right.
And
Like that one they show, that's like a meme with like...
Hey, remember when Ben did the skip first try? When we did Mario Kart 64 for the decathlon?
that was amazing.
Yeah.
And then we were like, we quit this one.
That was good.
So that
That
game
was like Ben's shining moment.
that game is
Wow.
apparently one of the most...
Sorry, Ben.
Yeah.
It's one of the most optimized games there possibly is. So, like, it's only, like, 25 minutes long, but it's, like, it takes forever for someone to beat the record, and, like, it just seems so frustrating.
Dude, turbo-optimized games seem like they're incredibly stressful to run.
Even if it's only a 20-minute run like Mario Kart, it's like, oh, I messed up 1 second. It's like, oh, gosh. So, the most interesting one that he did was on Super Metroid, where, like, it's more that I don't really like... Well, I don't want to say I don't like Super Metroid, but, like, I'm not super into it like everyone else, but
That's a bad opinion.
the story of the record is very interesting. Like, some guy held it for, like, 5 years when speedrunning wasn't huge, and everyone was like, this guy is God. He is God of games. And then eventually people figured out new strats and whatever, you know, over a lot of time. But this one guy held it. He was like a pretty well-known runner. He held it for, I don't know, 6 months or a year. And then this guy who no one ever heard of was like, and like barely ever streamed, all of a sudden just started, like, practiced a ton, and then just started streaming when he was good enough to set the record, and like, set the record, like, and people were like, what? That would suck so much to be the guy who originally had the record, and then some guy out of nowhere is like, oh, by the way, I beat it. At least, like, in the community, if you're like a Sig Lemic, and you're like, well, this other guy's going for the record, and eventually, you know, whatever. You're like, oh, well, at least I know this guy, you know. Nice block.
I'm glad that I used all my magic like right away.
Do you have any thing to bring it back?
No.
Is there
I
any...
mean, I got a lot of it back right there.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
some
you
of
can
it.
absorb.
But no, there's no items. I don't think that give you mana back. Not that it really matters that much.
Oh, jeez. Please,
Nice. Oh, nice!
Sweet move!
Yeah, I always forget that those guys, when they do that, hit twice.
Right.
And, like, you should dodge the one, and then,
Then block.
yeah, and then block. Because a lot of times, since it's such a big wind-up attack, even if you guard it, you're in, like, a state where you can't defend again, and then it hits you anyway. Alright, so this is the start of the second one. There's 3 overall. I guess it's like 30.
This is brutal. Like, it's just... It's tough.
There's one of these in like every Onimusha game. This like Dark Realm boss rush thing.
Is that a question?
No, I'm saying.
No, I mean, Parker knows way more about Onimusha than I do.
Good lord. Hey, if it means anything to you guys, I know less than both of you.
I just remember there being one of these in the 3 that I played. I just kind of assumed it was an awful one.
Well, there's only 4.
That's right.
Dawn of Souls is weird. That was actually, I remember that was a game that I was looking for forever, and when Spencer was working at GameStop, I was always like, they had Dawn of Souls, and he was like, I don't see that one ever. And eventually I got it, and then I played it, and I was like, this is only okay.
It's weird because at the time we, like... No one knew that stuff like PS2 was gonna get crazy, but I even remember I was working there when, like, all the dot hacks were out, and I remember, like, putting them out when they first came out and only having, like, a couple copies at the store, and then eventually being like, oh, yeah, that's weird, we haven't had dot hack for a while, you know?
Yeah.
Like, part 4 comes out, and it's like, you're like, oh my gosh, another one? You know? That kind of thing. You're like, ugh. And, like, how would you ever know, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's just impossible. And I think of some of the stuff I saw, like, some of it just because I guess that's how I am, I would be like, oh, this game came in and I never see it. Whatever, I'll buy it for, like, $10. But it's like, some of the stuff, like, I was there during the time when these games were, like, some of them were new, and I never saw Rule of Rose. And I never saw Haunting Ground. And the reason I know is I would have freaking bought them, because that's just how I, you know... I would have bought them. It just is what it is.
It's a unique title.
And PS2 wasn't expensive at the time, so I wouldn't have been like, oh, $50, come on. You know, so I would have totally bought them. So it's like, I never saw one, ever, you know, kind of thing. And it's like, dang, even during its heyday, they were like, non-existent.
You are getting, will you perceive?
So this is going pretty alright so far. I think I only used 1 or 2 medicines.
Nice.
I do specifically remember when I was younger, probably still in middle school or high school, we went to like a Funko Land, and that was when they were like just literally getting rid of PS1.
Dude, I'm sad that I just do not remember Funko Land, like, at all. I remember the times being in Blockbuster, but not Funko Land.
It was like GameStop, but like, no. See, that's
That's the thing. I don't know how different they were, but like the one near me anyway, they had like 10 or 15 like kiosks set up for every system, like from like Atari all the way up to whatever the current gen was.
Yeah,
And you could play whatever. Like you could ask them to put in whatever. You'd be like, "Can I try this?" And then they'd bring you over to the like the Xbox machine and be like, "All right, give it a shot."
yeah, that, I don't know, it was, yeah.
It just seemed like a cool place for being a corporate type place. You know?
I remember being in there, and they had like a bin of PS1, because they were literally like, please get this off our hands. And I specifically, this sounds like a meme that someone would say at the store, but I specifically remember going through and seeing Valkyrie Profile. But like being a kid, it was like $10. But like being a kid, you know, you're a kid. You're not like anything you're purchasing is like more than your limit, right? Because you're a kid. So you're like, oh, that's cool. Oh, well, whatever, you know.
For something real quick about these guys, when they go out on the ground, you can actually sort of see their heads popping out of the ground, and if you catch them while they're underground still, you can do the finishing move and then kill them in one hit.
Huh.
It also gives you like a whole ton of souls, but it's really hard to do because they're just so like quick in general. But when it's like 1v1, it's actually sort of easy to do.
Oh, I see, like when he came out right there. Oh, wow!
I did it.
Nice.
Nice.
Completely
That's
by
cool.
accident. Okay, cool.
Let me absorb these souls, bro.
Yeah, it was like a big yellow guy.
Yeah.
But when this game knows when you're like doing a finishing move or sucking in souls, like it immediately starts attacking you because you know
Yeah.
it knows your guard isn't up.
Oh.
Yeah, this
Is
is
that what you were talking about?
this is about the time when this place just gets stupid.
But also that like long delay, was that what you were talking about earlier?
One of my
When you first get to the new level?
yeah, I mean it's been happening the entire time.
Yeah,
It's
I didn't notice that.
Oh, you gonna heal?
These guys might drop a. Although honestly, blue is way more helpful than yellow in this stage.
Hey, they gave you a single herb.
Yeah, and I don't want to use it because healing items are obviously limited in this game because nothing drops them and there's a limited number of chests. And every herb you can upgrade to medicine, which is a full heal.
Oh, that's really cool.
It takes a full soul thing, but you never want to use a herb if you don't like absolutely have to.
And you have 13 already. By the time you get out of here, you're gonna have like 25 or something.
Yeah, I totally don't need all these souls.
Is there anything else you still need to upgrade?
Both my secondary swords, yeah.
Well, at least doing this means that you can easily do it.
Thanks for just slowing there.
I like that move. Nice, dude! Baller.
Like, the more I play this game, the more I sort of understand how countering works. You can definitely do it when anything spawns. And then you can do it when they're in the middle of an attack animation, and then specific spots for different enemies, but it's just incredibly hard to do.
This is the third part, right?
Yeah.
Is there a... You probably... Oh, nice. You probably said it. Is there a boss at the end? Cool. Oh, these enemies are dumb.
Okay, fine.
Missed out on all those badass souls.
I had full health at the time, even though it looks like I have half health now. Yeah, I mean, the worst thing about this is that since it's so cramped, if I get, like, chained attack, there's no, like, invincibility frames, like, at all. So I can just get chained into attacks because there's, like, 4 guys right around me. It's, like, kind of, like, the worst thing about this, which is why, like, I was talking to Parker about this, and, like, it's almost sort of luck how well it goes. Like, you obviously have some sort of skill on how defensive you can be, but if you just get chained into a corner and just get hit once and then you get hit 5 times because of it, it's like, well, it's over.
Nice! I like how that last hit rocked him.
I hate the guys with the shields just because they take forever. The red guys really aren't that bad. I'm actually going to...
Oh, I forgot about that. You have a new... Yeah. You have a new bar for each one of those things.
Yeah.
Nice! Sweet. Well, there can only be like 3 or 4 more.
Yeah, it's okay.
This one's nothing. Oh.
Yeah.
My favorite, the invisible guys and ninjas. This one's great.
Nice.
Dude.
I want that. I want that magic thing.
I think more enemies should just disappear and be invisible. Good lord!
Oh! Yes.
Nice.
That hit both of them. That's
No
that's
way!
amazing.
Wow, and they really rewarded you there too. They gave you a ton of health back.
That is awesome. Because that room is probably one of the worst ones.
Well, considering everything disappears and just flies around.
Although this one's pretty bad too. Thanks, bud.
speaking of getting...
That was literally 5 hits I couldn't do anything about. Whoops.
Wait.
I'm totally gonna lose this guy.
The worst by far.
It's good for when you're surrounded, and that's about the only good thing it's for.
Yeah, well, in this room, everybody would be with, like, close enough, probably.
I have a shield with this guy.
And they can counter your attacks. They're really terrible. They're probably my least favorite enemy in the game.
Nothing will beat Blue Sword.
Alright, I can use combo one more time. That's cool.
Yeah,
Alright,
you
goodbye.
definitely.
I probably should have saved it. But...
Oh!
That's cool.
Nice. Decent amount
Almost-
back.
almost one back. I mean, this should be like 1 or 2 floors more. This one, let's...
She's the green thing.
Actually, use that.